Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Health with Dr. Yvette Maseka. This is a podcast that aims to correct myths around health. Today, we're talking about an interesting topic: nurturing intelligence and how we can enhance our children's cognitive development through learning. And we are joined by Mr. Msonda, who is going to introduce himself in a minute. Oh, less than a minute. He's the first non-medical personnel that we're having on this podcast, and it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. So, who is Mr. Msonda?
Okay, so my name is Msonda Matthews, and my field of profession is psychology. And I also plan actually to do theology later this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Beyond that, I'm an entrepreneur, full-time entrepreneur who runs a social organization that is focused on education per se. We deal with schools, students, lecturers, teachers, and parents who have school-going children. So we are focusing on helping them to improve their academics, manage their intelligence, nature, and grow their personality as well. And hence their cognitive abilities, like the topic that we have. Yeah. Beyond that, I'm an author. I've written about 4 books. Two of them focus on learning, and the other ones, one focus on writing skills, how to improve writing skills, and also the last one focus on how somebody can enhance their innate abilities so that they can make a change in this world.
Oh, that's awesome. What is intelligence by definition? Because I don't think I actually know the definition for intelligence.
Okay, wow, intelligence. Many people have got different actually perceptions about intelligence, but in a layman's language, actually, even if you punch it on Google, the most common definition you're gonna find is intelligence is the ability, the ability to gain, to learn, adapt, and utilize a skill and knowledge. Yeah, and when we go in an advanced terminologies for our field, psychology, intelligence is a mental capacity to acquire new knowledge, to adapt to new environments, to learn knowledge and then apply it in new contexts. That is what you call intelligence. Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. Now, do you believe that intelligence is like fixed and changed? What you're born with is what you die with, or can someone become more intelligent, or can someone have retrogressive intelligence?
Well, intelligence is not fixed. Yeah. And we have seen people that have actually, there are so many practical examples even out there where people who seemed not to be intelligent at some point become intelligent. For example, when I was in my primary education, we had this guy I was learning with, I think from this first grade to I think 5th grade. The guy never used to perform very well. He was considered amongst the dull ones. But all of a sudden, we got so shocked when we were transitioning from the 5th grade to the 6th that he improved drastically, and he rose his academic performance. So that is just one of the examples, but there are quite a number of examples out there. Intelligence is never fixed, and there's nothing like when you are born. When you are born with a certain type of intelligence or level of intelligence, then you are going to continue like that. Sometimes, depending on how where the environment you're going to be in, what you'll be exposed to, and what you'll be taking in terms of food and many other factors, you're going to find that your intelligence will either go up or go down. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure our parents are very interested in this conversation. Is there anything that mothers can do in antenatal to help with their children's cognitive development?
Okay. Yeah. Just starting from I think the pregnancy perspective, but even before the pregnancy, I think all women just need to be aware that they play a very pivotal role in terms of the intelligence of their kids. And as you may know, it being your field, as a doctor, it. You know a lot. Yeah. So I think one of the key things that start developing as the baby begins to develop is the brain. So the mothers, the parents have got a very important role, especially the mothers. They need to take care of themselves. They don't need to uh, for example, expose themselves to some drugs, alcohol. Those things actually begin to disturb the brain development of the child. And if the mother is also malnourished, it is also going to directly affect these kids' intelligence. Some of the people that are born with certain disorders, it could be mental disorders or learning disorders, are actually as a result of nutrition. There was a research paper I was reading actually where they say that even adults, much of the downers that they experience is as a result of food. Yes, nutrition, bad nutrition. So mothers have got that. Also, when a child is born, when they are just born there, parents also have got a pivotal role in terms of shaping and exposing those children to certain environment and stimuli that may enhance the learning abilities and the intelligence of those kids. So yeah, parents do have a very key, they play a very key role in shaping the kids' intelligence.
Okay. What's your take on breastfeeding? So I came across, it was an article that was saying that children who are breastfed tend to perform better academically, and just in general, they are more intelligent than babies who are put on formula. What's your opinion on that?
Well, yeah, there are certain of a bit of truth in that, but it's not. I cannot say it's very conclusive that it applies. It's not a one shoe fits
all.
fits all kind of situation. Yes, I think the key component is most of the scientific research that has been there about breastfeeding. They sent on factors that breastfeeding as those direct nutrients that the kids, I mean, the baby gets to get from the mother. But you find that there's some people that were never breastfed, but they are super intelligent. So it really depends. It's quite true to a certain degree, but not to a largest extent. Yeah.
Okay. What role does learning play in a child's intelligence?
Okay. Well, learning itself, for you to learn, you must really be like the level of learning, the ability to learn is actually what intelligence is. So the learning itself has got a very big role. I want to believe that for you even to understand that you're intelligent, there are some things that you have learned.
Okay,
Yeah,
true.
definitely, right? And the people, most of the times, the people that we call Dow, it's because they don't know certain things. Their level of reasoning is actually very low. I will give another, like, what practical example can I give? Let's take, for example, somebody who has never been in school. Though school is not a measure of intelligence, but then
I was going to ask you that.
yeah, somebody who has never been in school, you're going to find that the way they analyze situations, maybe there'll be a political tension or something happening, their level of reasoning is very low, and you can even tell this person is very down. So the most practical example for an average person to understand, which can be a very good setup for, especially in Zambia, it's two people are doing agriculture. Okay, so that we have got this guy who is educated and he has learned something. Let me not say educated as per se going to school, but maybe he has learned that when you apply fertilizer, you do a BCD, this is what happens, and your crops do like that. And then you have got this other guy who know nothing about it. When there's a drought or when the seasons change, the guy who has information, who has learned something, will use that information intelligently and then apply it there. So you're going to find that his crops will be evergreen. But this one, who is not well exposed to certain kind of information, the crops will be yellow. And the common conclusion will be like, this guy has bewitched my crops. So learning in itself is plays a very key role because it enhances intelligence. It develops and expands intelligence. A person who does not learn, you begin to do. And the funny thing about mental faculties and the brain faculties that we have, I'll be a bit biased to my field. We have got about, I think, 8 brain faculties that actually that align very well with the intelligence, and those faculties only develop when you learn, when you extend them by learning. So I'll give an example. Imagination is one of the faculties. So you're going to find that the more you get exposed to knowledge, the more you begin to imagine things, and the more you imagine, the more you develop your levels of intelligence. The more you have the knowledge, the more your brain can see something that is not there. And even people that innovate, they innovate things because they have knowledge. That's the thing. So how can I bring it home? Have you, when you buy a car, you bought a Benz
Last year.
last year.
Yes.
Probably before you got that Benz, of course, it could have been one of your dream cars. So I want to get a Benz. But before that time, you were not seeing a lot of, such cars everywhere. But
No.
but I want to assure you that the moment you got a Benz, you started seeing it everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, you see it almost everywhere. That what is happening there is that before, your brain was not pre-exposed to, you had an idea about the Benz, but it was not pre-exposed to the Benz like in its fullness. But the moment you got the exposure, the brain started seeing it. So it started seeing it everywhere. And that is what happens most of the times to the brain. So when the brain gets information, your level of intelligence and perception increases. You begin to see certain things about life. You begin to see certain things about situations. You begin to interpret things in a certain way than when you had not been exposed to that. So learning is very key. People don't learn, they dwindle. And the way mental faculties, even the brain itself, the way it is that it is like it never remains stagnant. It never remains on the same level. When you don't utilize it by learning and thinking, it goes down. Like your capacity to even understand things gets lowered. Yeah.
Wow. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So do you think that there are jobs out there that sort of reduce your intelligence, or does routine reduce your intelligence because you're not really learning, it's just become like a part of you?
Yeah, it
Do you think
does.
so?
Routine does reduce intelligence to a greatest degree. Because when first of all, again, another fun fact, according to neuroscience, I'm a fan of neuroscience because at a later stage, I want to actually go do a master's in neuroscience. Neuroscience says the brain does not love to do hard things by nature. So, for example, when you're learning driving, uh, you at first it looks so complex a process. So you have to concentrate on you have to concentrate on the gears, the screen and stuff like that. It's so much. But as time goes on, what is happening is that the brain begins to reduce all that stuff into a habit. So you become like a pro. It will become a routine, and it will no longer be something that strains you, like that's something that stretches you, because now you can drive and answer a phone at the same time.
Yeah.
You'll be just driving there, and there'll be nothing. You feel like nothing is really complex about that process. So that you are going to find that in the process you not have anything exciting, especially if you are using the same road. You have mastered the road, everything, even when you're dozing, you can know, yeah, there's a hump.
Yep.
So and things like that. So people that stick to routines and they don't find anything precious in those routines, they can't pick something new to learn about, they get stuck and their levels of intelligence gradually uh, decrease. And one of the things I think that makes people get stuck into those routines is just the lack of exposure to more knowledge. Yeah, so that the learning process, because learning is not just school, but you learning something. For example, you may be doing a secretarial job. The more you read about the secretarial job, the more you're gonna see, the more you find fun in that particular job, the more you're gonna create something new. So yeah, routines do the routines, they reduce the levels of intelligence.
Actually, neuroscience also says that, or is it neuroscience or psychology? It also says that if your brain stops learning new things, your chances of getting things like dementia actually increase.
Yes. Yeah.
So you have to keep your brain active, be it learning a new language, learning a new dance. Just learn.
Yeah, you have to learn something.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So is there something that our teachers out there, parents can do to improve intelligence? Is there a way they can make the environment suitable for improving intelligence?
Yeah, especially for the kids, there's a lot that teachers, parents, and even guardians they can do to enhance the cognitive abilities and development of these kids. So first of all, there must be an understanding that when a child is born, from learning happens as soon as the child starts to develop in the womb. So because learning, for you to learn something, it doesn't require for you to be aware that you are learning.
Yeah.
Learning happens in three phases. So there's what we call the affective learning domain. So people learn through the affective learning domain by observation. So the child this actually is most prominent, especially in the children. The child will look at you and learn something just like that, even if he doesn't understand. In psychology, is a perfect example they use. Usually, a child will call you dad without really understanding what it means to be a dad. They just call you
Yeah.
papa and things like that. So then also children learn through reading and hearing things. So when you read to them stuff, they process, the brain can pick a few things. And then they also learn through skills. So like for doing things. Looking at those three faculties of learning, which is psychomotor, cognitive, and affective, what that entails is that parents and teachers who are dealing with kids can do something. And another fact, before I can highlight that some of the things that parents can do is that from 0 to 7 years, kids they don't have a conscious of their own, so they are not aware about anything. They are downloading things from the environment. So that's when they are forming the conscious. They are forming that processing, where this actually is called the first brain template. What kids get to form from 0 to 7 is the first brain template, and it never gets deleted. Actually, scientists say it plays a pivotal role in the learning that happens afterwards. The perfect example that I can use of this is there's certain things that you learn when you are 0 to 7 years, and even when you come to and learn those stuff after you have grown older, they never get removed. If you're a Christian and you are Adventist, you're going to find that this is a practical example. Adventists learn, for example, a theory that says when you die, you don't go anywhere. There are no ghosts. They can learn that truth. But if when they were young, they were exposed to movies about ghosts, vampires, that guy, when you tell him to say pass through the graveyard in the night, they will not accept into that, because even if after they have learned that, the first brain template shows. So having that realization simply means when you really want to develop the intelligence of a kid, you really have to put in place a lot of things from 0 to 7 years. Most whites, I've seen it is a common habit. Whites, they have a kid and they'll decorate the room with certain scientific things. They'll put a sky, beds, and when kids are seeing that, they're downloading, and that sticks to them. They'll play certain documentaries to the kids, certain songs that talk about life, science and these things, and those kids would download those things, and that is one of the ways exposing the kids to such kind of an environment instead of them just hearing insults. In a Zambian setup, most of the times when you're growing up, you're hearing insults. Your
Yeah.
parents, your father, your uncle, what. And kids download that. And sometimes parents begin speaking bad things about these older children of theirs, and that kid is downloading. And you'll be wondering why the kid, the moment their consciousness develops, they just have low self-esteem, and they feel they cannot venture upon something and even learn it. It's because they've been affected all along. So that is the first thing. For those kids that are above 7 years, what parents and teachers need to do is they need to make the learning a bit harder. The brain never learns when things are easy. It never learns anything. Actually, the learning that happens when things are easy is compared to writing on the sand. When you go to the beach and then you write something on the sand, when the wind comes, it is blown away. So when learning is hard, it sticks because it makes those neuropaths and the connections that are formed on the brain. I love to compare the connections to lines, electric lines of electricity. Those lines that form on the brain, they get to stick there when the learning is harder. So let learning be hard. Don't spoon feed kids. The more you spoon feed them, you spoil their intelligence. Make it harder. And when they do hard things, they will fail quite all right. They'll make mistakes, but then their levels of intelligence increases. Even their levels of connection between knowledge, like this concept to that concept, idea from this idea to that idea, is always higher compared to an environment where a child is almost given almost anything. Sometimes when you want to give a kid something, why can't you put it somewhere else and the kid try to solve to get there? I mean, it helps to develop. Yeah. So those are some of the things that need to be done.
Yeah, okay. So I came across another article. What you said about exposing kids to, those insults and whatnot. I came across an article that was saying that in the next few years or in the years to come, we're going to see an increase in so I don't know how people are going to take this, but we're going to see an increase in more of the homos, the gay people, because now we're seeing more of this on cartoons even. We're seeing it in movies. So because now kids are being exposed to that, they'll take that as the norm, as that's how they're supposed to be. And so in future we're going to see more of that. Yeah, that was just a side note.
Oh yeah, I think that is true. I think it's not only about that. I think you find that people even now, I think that is more evident. Uh, Kids that have grown up watching a lot of crime movies, they become some sort of criminals or bullies when they go into school, because that affects their psychological makeup, and that is what they think they come to regard as a norm. So there are quite a number of things. Even you're going to find this. It's actually in many angles. Kids who have grown up in homes where parents are always arguing, or the father is beating up the mother. That child believes that for you to be a man, you must beat up the woman. It is just like that. So yeah, that's very, very true.
So we have to be careful with what we expose our children to.
Definitely.
Speaking of movies and all these things, how can we utilize technology to our benefit, to increasing our children's cognitive development?
Oh yeah. Technology. Wow. Technology has both advantages and disadvantages. Yeah. So on the advantage side, I think technology has come in with a lot of benefits for the kids, and part of one thing I would encourage parents, and I may not know be watching who may watch this podcast. It could not be the elite only.
Yeah.
But I've come across certain homes, and the parents there, they actually don't allow kids to have a phone. You can imagine, at this age and this time, the kid, no phone. No, you have a phone when you finish grade 12. You have this tablet when you are going into college. A big problem. So parents, you can actually be intentional, buy certain gadgets that may be beneficial to the kids. Maybe there are those scientific tablets out there. There are those tablets that have puzzles in them, maths in them, that have songs that talk about science, life, documentaries. They could be audio. Like, be deliberate. You can utilize that. And movies, there are some movies that are more interesting, that teach real life situations, and that may also help. I think I've watched certain cartoons. um I don't know if it's cartoon, what's the name?
Coco Melon.
I think I watched this. It's an old world cartoon. I don't know. I think it's Moya, and it was about this little girl who was going on the sea to save. Uh, there was this. I can't even remember, but it was the girl going to save the village, and she had to go pick the heart of the queen of the more like spiritual thing, and then it was the heart was gotten from that place, so she had to go find it, then bring it back so that peace is restored. What that cartoon teaches, it teaches resilience. There are a lot of things actually. When you watch it, the kid will pick up a number of things. So there are certain movies that the parents can allow the kids to watch certain documentaries, certain things that the parents can allow. Not the carelessness that is there at the moment, where parents just leave the kids with anything, because it is very disadvantaging to them, and even the kids when they grow up. We can, apart from that, I think technology, also AI, which has come, artificial intelligence, which has come. Let us find a way to expose the kids to AI. This time a person who's not using AI, I don't even understand what they're doing.
But won't that make us uh I hate to use this word, but won't that reduce our intelligence
No.
once it's down? Because, for example, if I'm writing, let's say I'm writing this script for the podcast,
Yeah.
I can simply just ask AI to generate a script for me, but then I'm not thinking.
But you were asking, so you processed something, right?
Yeah, but I should be able to come up with the questions and write those questions down
Okay.
without using AI.
Yeah, to a certain degree, but you see, the world where we are going, AI is something that has come to stay. So the best way is to find a smarter way to use AI. Knowing that kids learn through hard stuff. So what needs to be done is that instead of kids just using AI for whatsoever that they want, like the example that you have given, when they want to write a poem, they
Yeah.
type there. You can teach them to write a poem, and they can use AI to edit it. It's a practical best example. So you have exercised your knowledge and you have given AI, and the AI amplifies it for you. And that makes it's not completely AI. It's you, and has been amplified by AI. It's part of the, like that, you'll be tackling both ends, and it will really help. Because when you avoid AI, what is going to happen is this: when you avoid AI, especially in Africa and in Zambia, you're going to find that you'll be useless later on. People that are going to survive 5 years from now, even in jobs, are those who are going to combine their level of intelligence to do what AI cannot do. Yeah, that's those are the guys who are going to survive. Because even me, I'm thinking in my job, there are certain things that I used to, do, but now AI has come. I'm no longer doing them. I'm just punching there. There are certain letters I need to send somewhere, and I don't need the struggle. I'll just punch in. It saves me the time. So if someone cannot utilize AI, I mean, they will write something that is pathetic, and I fire them.
And what if let's say when we're in Zambia, what if your internet is down and you need to write that letter? How are you going to write it without AI? Because now it sounds like you're going to become dependent on AI and you won't be able to function without it.
Well, what I'm encouraging right now is not for you to completely rely on AI, but is to use it to your advantage. If it can help you reduce on time, you are a busy person. When you go at a hospital, it's busy. But imagine you are doing a side hustle, and they call you, they need a later. Do you have the time? So you can use AI, but your intelligence will still be utilized. So you can halfway use AI, and the other way, find a smarter way to utilize. I feel, to a certain degree, the reason why you need to combine the two, it will help you become better. It will equip you with certain skills, but at the end of the day, it saves you time. And the other way why you should not completely depend on AI is because you will be underdeveloped as a person if you're just completely dependent on AI, and kids will be lazy. So we need to just find it and find a balance and strike it, and it will really work out for the good. Yeah.
Okay, maybe a balance. I can live with a balance, but I just feel AI will just like totally make us lazy.
AI is good. I'm telling you, it's really good. I mean, I was hearing something that I don't know if it's in America, that there's one doctor who performed an operation
Using AI.
AI.
And imagine that malfunctions somehow.
Well, that's the disadvantage. But even some doctors malfunction even when they are there. So I mean, difference. I mean, anything is possible. Yeah. That's the thing. I
Okay.
mean, because imagine. Okay, I've been hearing about Elon Musk. Elon Musk, there's this concept he has been working on. I don't know when exactly he's going to manage to do it, where they want to put a microchip in your brain, like the thing that has all the information, so you no longer need to read books. Once that is put inside you, all the books are inside. It will operate like Google.
Wow.
So we have a lot of things coming up, and we can't afford not just to expose ourselves to some of these things. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. I want to ask you about some common misconceptions that people have about intelligence.
Oh yeah.
So, is school a good measure for intelligence? Or these standardized tests like the IQ test, are
Oh yeah.
those a good measure of someone's intelligence?
Well, IQ does measure a certain component of intelligence, but not everything. For example, in my field, there are a lot of debates about that. And one of the social psychologists, the social psychologist, I think it should be a social psychologist, in 1999, it should Gardner from Harvard University, did an extensive research. He was a professor, so he claims he did a very extensive research, and he came up with 8 type of intelligence that are there. So it could go to why school may not be a very great measure. It may measure a certain portion of intelligence, but not just the whole intelligence. So according to Gardner's theory, which has been adopted by many circles, even in the education where I'm focusing on, those 9 type of intelligence, for example, we have number 1, the logical mathematical intelligence. So logical mathematical intelligence is the intelligence that enables you to solve maths, to be very good at mathematical science and science. And you are going to find that certain schools are tech schools, and that guy who is there as for example this natural innate of logical mathematical intelligence, he will excel, and everybody are gonna call him intelligent. Then we have got this guy who has musical intelligence, because it's part of the intelligence that were listed by Gardner. And when you have musical intelligence, music is just not it's not just music. You understand the pitch, the rhythm, the symphony, like all those kinds of things. When I'm listening to music, I don't pay attention to those. I just listen to the beat and stuff. But the guys who are into music, who have musical intelligence, they highly understand those things. So you're going to find that you're at a school that does not favor, that has no musical intelligence kind of a setup. You'll be considered among the down ones. We have got linguistic intelligence. People are good at grammar. There are people who learn languages very fast. And I've heard people say, no, English is not a measure of intelligence. Wow, it is. I mean, English is a measure of a certain degree of intelligence, linguistic intelligence. So if I have linguistic intelligence and then I'm at a school that favors more sciences, again, I'll be considered Dow. Then there are so many who have naturalistic intelligence. These are the guys who are people who have naturalistic intelligence are good with school of humanities. They do law, they do things like geography. They love those social sciences. They love them, and they may not thrive very well in tech schools or engineering and stuff like that. They may not. We have also interpersonal, what people are now calling emotional intelligence, which is a combination of two: intrapersonal intelligence and interpersonal intelligence. Interpersonal, understanding other people well. Intrapersonal, understanding yourself very well. It's another level of intelligence. So school cannot be the real defining factor or measure of intelligence, because it depends on what that school is about, what they have. There are certain schools, of course, that incorporate a number of activities, and they promote the overall development of a learner, and you can tell this school has tried. But most of the schools that we have, especially in Africa, they don't promote that. They'll single out on part of those intelligences, and you can possess all the intelligence. You can only possess maybe an average minimum. People have got 2, but you can have 5. But imagine you don't have all of them, and you're in an environment that only focuses on 2 or 1 that you don't have, then you're gonna be considered down. So school is not.
Okay, I think then as a country we have a long way to go, because we don't have art schools.
Yeah.
Like proper music schools
There's
and art
nothing.
schools. We don't. But
Yeah.
you see that the developed countries have that.
They have. And it's interesting. You're going to find that, cause I have a lot of friends who are actually in USA, and I'm working constant with the USA embassy. So I get a lot of exposure with the United States, like universities that are in USA. You're going to find that USA are going to there are certain courses like graphic designing, 4 years, a degree program.
Wow.
Graphic designing, which today in Zambia they will tell you, you find you come across a post on Facebook, you say learn graphic design in 2 days. Others are doing graphic designing as the entire degree course, Yes, so we have a long way to go. We have
Yeah,
a
I mean,
really
even in
long
Zambia, you
way.
tell them, I'm doing a degree in music or a degree in. They'll be like, okay, you'll probably be considered dull because what we
Yeah,
use in Zambia is school. And when you said linguistic intelligence, those who are good at grammar. Person who came to mind is Mr. Simon Mwewa.
Oh
Because
yes,
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 he's
yes, yes,
always
yes, yes, yes,
correcting
yes.
grammar.
Yes,
He
yes,
has
yes.
good grammar. He has very good
Yeah,
English,
yeah.
and yeah, that's a good example of someone with
Yes,
linguistic
he has actually
intelligence.
a large. He's very biased towards grammar. Yeah,
Yes,
that's his area. So yeah,
yeah. So my area, I think, is is more of the
the
what?
logical mathematical.
Yeah,
Yep, I
yeah.
guessed right.
As a doctor, I'd obviously have to have that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The other common misconception is that intelligence is solely genetic. But I think we've already covered that. We've said
A
that,
bit. Yeah.
yeah, it can be developed and environment also plays a role. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
It may not. It may not. But though that genetics play a little bit of it has some level of influence on the level of intelligence that somebody has, because science reveals that intelligence is linked to about over 500 genes. I know a child will have half genes from the mother, half genes from the
from the
father.
father.
So definitely, I want to link it to something, though it may be a bit complex. But there's something I was reading in Socrates. One of the philosophers actually said that when you're born with knowledge in advance. You just begin to unleash it when you get exposed to it, which also comes handy with the genes, like the intelligence, because the intelligence that comes with the ability of knowledge. What example can I give? There are certain things when they happen in life, you feel like you already know them, like it has happened before, or you, of course, that may be the issue of it has happened before, can be another psychological thing, but there are certain knowledge where you, when somebody speaks about that knowledge, you'll be like, yeah, like it was already there.
Yeah.
It could have been that you inherited the genes, it come with the genes. Maybe your father read the Bible from A to Z, so certain verses, now I'm remembering when you talked about RI.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I actually not good at RE. I didn't do so well in RE.
Yeah,
And
but I also, I love the Bible, but for me, I dropped right in grade 8.
oh, my dad was looking at my results and he's like, Yvette, you get a 1 in math. You get a 1 in physics. And you get a 6 in RE.
Surprisingly. So can we call you down?
No, no.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, for a person, for the RI teacher, what is he going to say about you?
Yes, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
but
this girl is down.
yeah,
Get
a 6
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
without actually looking at my other, because my sciences I did very well.
Oh yeah.
I got ones, and I mean, going to the School of Natural Sciences, UNZA, they don't consider RE.
Oh
They were
yes,
looking at
yes,
my
yes.
math, my chemistry, physics, where I did very well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. RE was,
Or just something on your left side.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think on the
But
genes part, yeah, that is what I can say. They play some role in that you inherit something, but to a largest extent, people shouldn't be fixated. I think my message there would be, just because you're born from very good intelligent parents doesn't mean you're gonna be intelligent. So I was reading something actually from one of the scientific papers. It was like genes don't really determine how intelligent you will become. Just like when you are born from tall parents who are tall, most likely you can be tall, but your level of tallness will be dependent on what you are going to experience from your birth to the time that you stop growing.
Even what you're going to eat.
What you are going to eat, what you're going to take in, the kind of all that will determine whether you're going to be taller or shorter than them. Yeah.
But actually, wanted to ask you, why did you drop RE? I'm very curious because I think it's one of the I should have dropped it, but I had no option. I had to take it.
I didn't like it. I didn't like the fact. I think we share a very common domain. I'm a logical mathematical guy. I'm so much into science and maths and stuff like that. So when there are them those passages, who said this, the Bible verse and stuff. I love the Bible. I love the Bible, but for that, I never had interest. So because of that, instead of me appearing like I'm not serious with school, or
You
just
just
because of
dropped
this
it.
one particular subject, I just had to put it aside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's really tainted my
The
my
results,
grade
right?
12 certificate.
Yeah, no, I had to remove. Actually, it's not. I was almost also dropping geography, but then for geography, I didn't. I really had to just persevere to say, okay, I was just studying it for the sake of studying, but I never had major interest in it. Yeah,
Okay.
because the intelligence, for example, according to Gardner's theory, the type of intelligence also influence your inclinations towards certain subjects and even career-wise, what you are going to pick. It will interest you to know that I wanted to be a doctor, but then what made me not go into medicine? I actually got acceptance letters from Monza CBU. What made me not go into medicine is my focus was on the brain and not necessarily. So I love the health part, but for the brain, not just anything else. So I was thinking, okay, I think when I do medicine, I go to do neurosurgery, and I was like, okay, let me go start from USA then. And so when I got those acceptance letters, I just ignored them. But later on, I got more exposure, and they said, okay, so psychology and occupational therapy deal directly with what I do. That's what I went for. So yeah, those things.
Does uh, does intelligence grant you success or guarantee you success?
Um, wow. It's to some degree, yes. To some, no. Depending again on other factors. You there's what we call a big. Let me talk about this. There's what we call a big five factor on when it comes to personality. It could be a bit off the topic, but there's one component of it that links to intellect, like intelligence. On the big five factor, which are factors that actually influence who you are, your personality, and everything else about you. There is one component, one factor that is called openness to experience. So openness to experience is the measure of how open you are to experiences, and that is the measure of your intellect and creativity. They go hand in hand. So most of the people are highly who score very high when it comes to openness to experience on that scale are super intelligent, and they are most of them 80% of them are unsuccessful.
Unsuccessful.
Yeah, the reason is their levels of intelligence are to a great degree that an average society does not understand it, does not comprehend. So you become Albert Einstein, whatsoever Albert Einstein did came to be accepted later when he died. Most of the stuff, it wasn't during his time. Because even him, he scored very high on openness to experience. The level of intellect was very, and you are going to find this that the most highly creative people take time to succeed. They just miss it. They're into their own world. So to that level of intelligence, it depends. When you keep trying to do something, yes, eventually you can succeed. Because even the people that have invented, for example, locally here in Zambia, I've heard people that have invented, remedies for HIV, but they are nowhere. They are nowhere to be. They can. So intelligence, when it comes, because again, when you are intelligent not to that degree of the one I'm talking about, you are just, you have
There.
developed your level of intelligence to that. It simply means you'll be able to assimilate information very fast from a situation and adapt very fast. Yes, you will succeed, because then what that means is that if, especially if you're also translating your knowledge into practical life, if you are translating your knowledge into practical life, what is happening is that you are developing two types of intelligence again. When you read, then you implement something. When you learn, then implement something. You are developing what we call practical intelligence. Practical intelligence is your ability to get abrupt ideas that don't make sense, that are just thinking, like they come from your critical thinking, and then you apply them in real life. Those are the people of practical intelligence, are the ones that you call street smart, and they're excelling. And we have seen most of them who are street smart, but they are not educated. They have never gone to school. They're on the streets. They have practical intelligence, and that makes them excel to the greatest degree, because then they go handy into action. They also develop what we call creative intelligence. So creative intelligence, they can synthesize something new from the old information. They make something new, and then they apply it in a situation which is real life. But you see the difference between the last setup I'm talking about, and the first one. The first one, they get lost in abstract ideas, things that don't make sense. So Isaac Newton is seeing the apple falling and says, "What causes this thing to fall?" And of course, later on, it has helped the law of gravity and stuff. But at that particular time, this guy is thinking, and everybody goes like, "You are crazy! What are you wasting? You're wasting time." The practical example is Elon Musk. Elon Musk is working on something to go to Mars, where he's saying, "I think we're destroying the Earth. I can work on tourism. He's starting with tourism. He's building a hotel where you can go and visit. You pay certain dollars, you go spend 2 nights there and come back." But right now, even if I asked you to say, Elon Musk, what is doing, is it sensible? You say, no, it's not sensible. So that guy scores very high on openness. He's super intelligent.
And
But
super successful.
he's super successful because he has balanced it. Look at what has happened. They are very minimal. Remember what I said. They are very minimal people who are as crazy as he is and successful. So the guy was 20 years ahead of us in terms of electric cars. When he started thinking about electric cars, everybody else was laughing at him. But now, because of the 20 years that has elapsed, or 20 plus, everybody else are now talking about electric cars. Even the other business that he has been doing, the space business, he failed terribly, lost billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And then he kept trying, and then he succeeded. So we may never know if the Mars project will succeed or not, but the fact is that I think he has also striken a balance. His super intelligence is also balanced with the having the practical intelligence. He's not educated in the schools. Elon Musk says school is for fun and it's not for learning as per se. That's what he says. And all his children, I've taken time to read a bit about him. All his kids are homeschooled. He doesn't take them to any school. They're homeschooled. He has his own kind of things that he teaches them. So you see, that's the thing.
And yet he's very successful. Even Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg, yeah, he was super. Even Bill Gates, because those guys were at Harvard, they were super sharp, and that's why. On a side note, that's why I laugh when people are saying, especially Zambian motivational speakers, when they start talking about, no, you can drop out from school and make it. But guys, let's be real. This guy was dropping out from Harvard University. Harvard, which school in Zambia can you compare to Harvard University? And when you look at the record of Bill Gates, those guys scored almost perfect scores on SATs. They had almost everything together with the Mark Zuckerberg. So these guys were not dull guys. They were not guys who were just playing. They were super sharp to an extent that when they discovered something phenomenal, they said, I think there's no need to be in school. Now school you have been failing. Yakanga Chen say, let me just go drop
Let
out.
me become an entrepreneur.
Let me become an entrepreneur, my guy. Entrepreneurs for dull people. who wants to imagine? Even you, as an educated doctor, want to go buy to somebody. I mean, from someone who is dull, whom you consider dull. No, and there are certain businesses you can't do when you're dull. For example, a business in which I'm doing, when you're not learned, you can't do that business. So, yeah. If you're in school, I'm encouraging you to continue school. Build up your intelligence, and then just make sure it is practical. As much as you, as much as you gain knowledge, make sure it translates into practice, so that you can build practical intelligence and creative intelligence. For those, I'm a very typical believer that there's nobody who's dull. Yeah. Everybody, because intelligence is just the ability for you to learn. Anyone can learn. Anyone can gain a skill. What, however, is true is that there are people with intelligence that they don't that is underdeveloped. Yeah, we learn about neuroplasticity, about the brain. The brain is like an elastic, and I think there was a quotation I came across which says, "The mind never returns to its original dimension when it is exposed to new ideas." Because of what we have discussed here, a person watches and they never knew, their mind never remains the same. So, meaning the brain has the capacity to expand. But when you stay, like I indicated earlier on, when you stay without really applying effort to learn, to think, to process things, to imagine, and to make decisions, which are some of the things that actually develop intelligence, you're going to find that you dwindle. And when you're down, definitely when you increase your level of downness, not that you were born down, but by the environment, the things you're eating, you increase the level of downness, you never excel. Because even in an opportunity, you never see an opportunity. How are you going to see an opportunity when knowledge, your brain has no intelligence to interpret to say this is an opportunity? You can't. The only thing you'll be thinking about is criminal. But even criminals, to a certain degree, they have certain levels of intelligence. So you become a very useless being when you don't develop your intelligence.
Because we have criminals who haven't yet been caught.
Yeah,
So you can't really consider them criminals.
hackers who could even hack the bank of Zambia.
Yeah.
Those are really
Intelligent.
Yeah.
That's true. You know, when you're talking about that super intelligence, I was just thinking of something I heard. I've heard people saying that uyu aikwata sana mano nombaisakira mfurunga nyakovidia. Is that also super intelligence in a way?
I think
that's what I think. There's some people who are like super intelligent, but I think maybe it's because they have a high IQ and a low maybe EQ. So they're socially awkward.
Oh yes.
But they're really smart but very socially awkward.
Yeah.
So I think a good balance is good.
Yeah, to a certain degree. I had a friend, a very practical example. I had a friend, I think he was a grade ahead of me at Dick. This guy was very intelligent. When he was in grade 11, A levels would come to him for help. He solved for them much, but he was very dead.
Yeah,
He never
very
used to
socially
he
awkward.
never used to socialize, and even the course he picked, he's in the USA. In the course he picked, he wanted to do theoretical physics. I think that's when you start looking at me as an average person, I look, theoretical physics. What? I mean, how does it even relate to human life?
It's very hard.
So, yeah, man. Okay, but I wanted to say some people whom they call mfurunganya. It's just because maybe alabelenga sana. They just overstudy. Some guys they just overstudy, then they fail to contain what they are studying, so they become weird. You are greeting them, they start defining certain concepts from what they were reading. And yeah, that happens. I'm a book person because I've read quite a number of things, but I don't think I've reached a point where I can say. I think I'm one of the people my mother used to call Kapena anyway, but I don't think I feel myself that I'll reach there. Kupena, that level of Kupena. No, I don't think there's somebody who can reach that. But striking a balance, like you have said, if you when it comes to intelligence, if you really just want to focus on intelligence, yeah, you can focus and become super intelligent, like Elon Musk and these other guys who are super scientists. But just know that you'll never be successful. You'll never be successful in the success of not only money, but also other areas. Because for you to feel fulfilled as a human being, it's not just about you having money. People think it's money. I've dealt with people that are very rich and yet they're very destitute in terms of other areas of life. You can have the intelligence to make money, but no intelligence to relate with other people. You can be a very great, intelligent entrepreneur, but you have no intelligence to manage the business, because business is managed by you knowing the ability to relate with people and grow in those relationships. So, growing all the intelligences, I feel like I'm saying, don't be fixated to one. And when your intelligence is more on the abstract side, where it's not focusing on realities, balance it up with reality. It's not reducing your intelligence, it's you trying to be useful in life. At the end of the day, I read a very interesting quote from one of the people I follow, business colleague, Curtis Lloyd. He said, your intelligence will be a mere statistic if it is not balanced by what you do using it to solve people's problems. It will just be a mere statistic, hypothetical. Oh, the guy is intelligent, but when you die, we can't see how your intelligence solved any problem of this world. The people that we are citing, Elon Musk, they have solved certain challenges of this world, and that's why they are rich. We can remember them, but there are some people who are super intelligent and they have done nothing. No, it's not balanced by the realities. I feel develop your intelligence with a view to be useful to mankind. That's where you'll be very successful. Yep.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah.
So the other misconception is when a child is developing, for example, attaining these milestones. So some people believe that when a child, is able to sit without support very fast, walking very fast as well. Maybe by the time they're 8 months, they're already walking. They attribute that to the child being intelligent. They'll be like, oh, this one, she spoke before she was 1 year, so she's going to be
Super sharp.
Yeah. Is that true?
No, it is not. Because actually, when that actually typical example that you have given is an example of psychomotor skills. Those are psychomotor skills, and they fall in a different domain of the brain. They even memory. So you're going to find people have disorders, brain disorders, and those who have had accidents where their brain is affected, they don't forget motor skills. They don't forget how to walk. They don't forget how to eat in Shima. Even no matter how it's dark, they will know how to eat. So those are motor skills. They fall in a very different dimension. You can't say those are certain skills that you actually learn without the brain being aware that, oh, you don't remember that this is how you walk. No, those we just learn like that. So it's not really say this person is intelligent. Those are motor skills. They are different altogether. However, it could be an indication that maybe that particular child is more of a psychomotor learner. So they will learn with hands-on things to do. For speech, it could indicate that maybe they have linguistic intelligence. Yeah. And for that one who is working, they have psychomotor intelligence. So they might become very good with performing things like operations if they become doctors. And carpenters, they become great carpenters. Anything, tellers, they become best tellers. Anything to do, some become also great womanizers.
Yeah. So if your baby walked fast, you should watch out.
Yeah.
So are there any foods that help with intelligence, or anything that we should stay away from?
Wow. Yeah, I'm not a nutrition specialist, but I would encourage people to consult more on nutrition. But nutrition does affect a lot on, the brain. There are certain foods that are actually very key for the brain. Things that are high in zinc. So I will just mention about that. Zinc, very, very important. When you have low zinc in the body, simply means you cannot function at your optimal. The brain will not function at its best. And people release zinc in different things. I don't want to venture into, in the medical side of things. So, but you find that one of the activities that people lose zinc a lot, then they should stay away from it, are sexual activities. So
I was going there.
those stuff, and I'm yet to find somebody is super, super, super into such activities, and they're super sharp. I'm yet to meet one. So you can eat foods that are high in zinc, proteins. For students, for the local environment, chunks are the best.
Soya chunks.
Yes, soya chunks. Soya chunks are good. Actually, they have is it omega fat acids, and those are really they help a lot in your functionality of the brain.
You also find those in fish.
Oh yeah, fish, yeah, fish, yeah, as well, yeah. But fish again has got certain other elements that may not even really be good for the brain. But yeah,
Chunks. Oh, chunks are
students,
good.
students. I mean, for those students who may follow this podcast, chunks are the best. And for those parents who have taken kids to boarding schools where they provide chunks,
Chunks.
that's why they provide chunks and beans in
We
boarding
use
schools.
Hillcrest beans every supper.
Beans, chunks, and cabbage.
All the time. Beans never miss. Like
Yes.
from the start of the term to the end of the term.
Yeah.
Beans.
So they focus on those. And I think one of the other things I would mention is water. Intake of water.
Okay.
So because the less water you have in the body, I think you actually reduce your level of intelligence to a certain degree. In that, for the brain to function, for you to develop this intelligence or utilize it, your brain must function at its best. For it to function at its best, there must be blood should circulate properly. But when you don't have water in the body, it simply means your blood becomes sluggish in the way it's moving. So the brain will lack nutrients. It will not function. And you find people don't drink water. They doze off many times. And when I talk about water, I'm not referring to drink juice and so on and so forth. That's not water.
It has a percentage of water.
Oh, it's a smaller percentage. If you love sweet things, I would encourage you to buy fruits that are sweet because those have got diluted, which is the best water that you need to drink. Yeah, so water plays a very key role in that it enhances the flow of the blood, which increases circulation of the blood to the brain, and that makes the brain to be oxygenated, meaning you are going to function at your best, and your intelligence will be cool. So drink water, no matter what happens. I think 3 liters a day is fine.
3 liters.
Yes.
Oh, look at me being shocked. Yes.
Imagine the
3
doctor being
liters.
shocked. Yes,
Yeah.
3 liters. Because and people on the way you fear, like when you ask people how much water do you take, especially students, even these ones, no, just 1 cup. No, you can actually drink water in bits, not the whole 1 liter at once. You drink 2 cups in the morning. Every morning when you wake up, lemon water. You drink that, it cleanses the body and warm water. Yeah, it makes your brain to start functioning very well. Again, that could be 1 liter. 2 cups may make 1 liter, and yeah, again as the day go by, again you drink. But if you're a student who's even studying, that becomes a mandate. Buy a very big bottle. The fun thing is, I remember even when I was in high school, we had these guys who were getting that just drink, that just drink bottle.
Yeah.
And those guys with water and they put sugar. They do zig and they buy a loaf of bread. And this guy is going to study. He puts first things and then he hammers half a loaf and zig. And then he starts, and everyone that is 2 minutes into studying, they are asleep. And so those challenges. But water is very, very cardinal. For those even who feel lazy to study, just drink water. Be frequenting the toilet, and the more you frequent, the more active you're going to be.
Yeah, that's the issue I have with drinking water, because even at night, I have to wake up.
Yeah, it's good.
Anyway, drinking water has its advantages. It also prevents you from getting UTIs. So
so water is it's pretty cool. I manage water. Even when I was in school, I was managing water. I've not been a fan of drinks.
I'm a fan of drinks.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of drinks, even sugar.
But I've been trying to reduce. There was a point in school when I wasn't drinking water.
Really? How did you survive?
I survived. Juice. Had water.
Ooh.
But now, growing up, learning more about healthy living, working out, I take more water now. I think I take 2 liters a day. I'm not yet.
That's small. That's not enough, actually.
I'm not yet at 3 liters. I don't know if I'll ever get there.
But because you lose a lot of water in the night.
Yeah. So I'm taking 2 liters of water and a bit of juice.
Maybe increase on fruits as well. Yeah, maybe apples. We love apples and mangoes,
watermelons and
watermelon. Those things.
I think I'll do that. So, any take-home message for our listeners and viewers?
Yeah. Okay.
Or is there any question that you thought I was going to ask you that I haven't asked?
Hey. um, I think my take. What I would lastly say to everybody who is watching this, it could be a parent, a youth, or anybody, is that intelligence. We have to be deliberate to develop intelligence. Everybody who is born is intelligent, but they become dull in the process, or they become brighter in the process. So never be fixated. Don't buy into those negative sentiments that people tell you. You could be a person who find yourself in a situation where you are called down. You could be a parent who is calling other people, even your children, down.
Or other people's children.
Other people's children to be down. That notion is not true. And I would encourage every parent, if you sense like your child is down, just do what we have advised. You can also go and read more about how to increase intelligence. The beauty is that we can build our intelligence, and our neural connections and neural paths can be strengthened, and our brain can grow and expand to a highest degree, that what we can do will be phenomenal. And what your children can do will be so phenomenal that you'll be shocked yourself that you gave birth to such a kid.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for
This was a very interesting conversation. I feel more intelligent, actually. I already feel more intelligent. Yeah. So there you have it. Please utilize the tips that we've been told today. Make sure you have a stimulating environment for your child, and don't call them down. Encourage them, and try to harness their intelligence. If they have musical intelligence, try to support them in that musical part. Then if they have mathematical intelligence, yes, encourage them to do more, science projects and all those things, because as we've learned today, everyone has different intelligences. And also in that aspect, I think we should stop telling our children what to do in terms of career choices.
Don't impose.
Yeah.
And, just because you fail to do medicine, then you want your child to do medicine.
So I feel like let them grow and choose their own career path that they're interested in. You find that you have doctors who didn't really want to become doctors. They don't have that passion, that zeal to see, patients, treat patients, and engineers who don't have that zeal, to be engineers. So allow your children to choose. Yeah. So this was Health with Dr. Yvette Masaka. Bye.